cannot freely discern marriage without recognizing that there's a real possibility that there will be a breakup. And so it's so important to be able to do that while upholding everyone's dignity. It just is, but people aren't talking about it because no one likes to talk about unpleasant things. But Kateri will talk about it with me, won't you, girl? You'll talk about it with me.
Sure will.
Okay. Yeah. So I prepared some questions. I'm just going to ask her the questions. I'll get your feedback first, Kateri, and then if we want to like dialogue about it, we can, or I'll just go on to the next one. So how does that sound?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Here we go. All right. So because you work at Catholic Match and you really have like a front row seat to all of these relationship dynamics all over the world, really, so many of the relationships that you get to see play out on the whole spectrum, right? So some of them end in marriage, some of them end in breakups. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to uphold the dignity of your soon-to-be former significant other during the breakup process, right? You're dating and you're transitioning to not dating, but that process in itself is messy. So how do we uphold that person's dignity?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's, like you said, it's super messy. But as difficult and as awkward and as uncomfortable as it is, there are a few things that you really should do when you are considering breaking up with someone or you're actually in the process of breaking up with someone. And first and foremost, I think, is you need to respect yourself, but you also really need to respect your ex or your soon-to-be future ex, however you want to refer to that person. Unfortunately, in this day and age, respect for people, whether they're your ex or your neighbor or your stranger or, you know, someone that you know really well, respect is becoming less and less common in so many different ways in this culture. And as Catholics, we are called to uphold the dignity of every single human being, including during a breakup. You know, whether you absolutely can't stand them anymore or you still really love them, it's just not going to work out. Respect is key. And there are a lot of different ways that you can do that. It will vary depending on your circumstances and your relationship and certainly how long you've actually been together. But I think first and foremost is approaching the situation with respect and with care for that person because they are a person. God loves them. And because God loves them, you should care about them too.
I love that. I love your idea of, or like what you posited about respect just isn't something that people think about anymore. I think that's really true. Yeah. I think we're just not, like, our culture has shifted away from it, which is such a bummer because it's important. And especially online too. I feel like important. Yeah. I feel like people aren't very respectful online. It's like driving. Like you forget there's a human on the other side of that. And I think it's a good reminder, especially, you know, meeting online. I think that it's important to remember, like, they're still a real person, of course. So when you're going through the breakup, respect them.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of why I mentioned how you handle the situation really is going to differ depending on how long you were with this person. I wouldn't necessarily call it a breakup if you've only messaged online back and forth a few times and then, you know, you never even met in person. However, if you want to end the conversation, that is some type of a breakup and you should still end it with respect for that person. Like you mentioned, sometimes when you're interacting with people online, it's really easy to forget that there's an actual person behind the screen. And so that's why I'm here to really encourage people to stop ghosting each other online. As tempting as that is, as widespread as that is, ghosting is not a good option. And it's very disrespectful to the person on the other end of the phone. So please don't ghost people. And again, I can certainly dive into this topic a little further, like depending on where you're at in a relationship. But I think early on, ghosting is not a good option. And it is kind of a form of a breakup. So respect needs to come into play there as well.